Back in the room. Back in the familiar room.
Back in the room.
Punch in the air.
All right. So this is a good and the bad and ugly episode where Paul and I get to talk about our ADHD lives and catch up.
Yeah.
8th edition.
8th edition. Check out the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to kind of like, keep up with the story thus far.
Yeah, exactly. And often, a lot of the episodes we do, they're on like obviously theme based and stuff, but sometimes, the kind of interesting stuff, it's like the little things, a little detail that happen in our lives.
Yeah, we are trying to emotionally bond with you by sharing
exactly
something of ourselves.
Yes.
So hopefully you will go in the comments and share something of yourself too, even if it's just a like or a subscribe or something, or even a smiley face emoji. I'll be happy with that. Behind? Are you behind?
I don't know. You're synced. To me, you're synced.
All right.
Are you saying behind in terms of recording or behind, in terms of mental capacity? All could be true.
In terms of recording, however, your audio seems to be spot on. So let's go to a place where the distractions are landmarks and the detours are the main roads. Welcome to ADHDville. Measure up here.
My head. Good, the bad, and the ugly. Good, the bad, the ugly edition 8. Okay. Hello, I'm Paul Thompson, and I was diagnosed with the combined ADHD and the D crawling towards a couple of years ago.
And I'm Martin West, and I was designated the ADHD combined poo-poo bladder. Oh yes, I was supposed to say diagnosed, but then I forgot what that word was. It just evaporated
in front of you,
right in front of me.
Okay.
So I was so in 2013. So I've had it quite a while, and we start off as we have been recently in the King's Agitated Head pub, in ADHDville, at the back table, where Paul and I sup on a drink and kick back, shoot the wind,
chew the cud,
So we've got we also have a mini pub quiz at the end.
Do.
Yes. So stick around for that and see if Paul can humiliate me.
I think I might this week.
I think that's the aim of the game is the humiliation of the other person. I think.
Yes, exactly. So we can feel.
Right.
Yeah, it's like one of us gets to feel, what's the word?
Smug.
Smug. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will spend an entire episode building each other up and sympathising, and then right at the end, in the pub quiz, we'll just give them like an
put each
uppercut.
other down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kicking
in a true
the nads.
British way.
Right.
It's a very British way. It's like put each other down. I was trying to explain this to an Italian this week about it, the way the British are with this kind of things. I was trying to explain it that in putting each other down, sometimes from an outsider's point of view, if you're not British, it can seem like really severe. A bit strong, but there's an element of intimacy in it. And it's a very male bonding thing to do. It's like there's an intimacy in putting each other down. Because we're not capable of being more authentic about in our intimacy.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the C word. If you get called the C word from someone
Yes.
you know as a
Yes.
Brit, it's almost in term
Mhm.
of endearment.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
almost like
Exactly
saying,
that.
"I love
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. Because we're quite incapable. Me especially, I'm terrible at complimenting people. Really bad. If it makes
Oh,
me feel quite uncomfortable.
right. I have to remember
Mhm.
to say something like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they did a good job." And even if I think it, it's like, no,
Mhm.
you have to say it out loud.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't count if you just think they did a good job. You have to kind of like
Mhm.
say it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know. All right. Well, let's
And then
jump.
even the way you say it, the way I sound kind of like like insincere. It just comes. It sounds really crap.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Well, I
Anyhow.
think we're going to exit the pub,
Yes.
jump in our trusty tractor, and
Mhm.
where are we heading, Paul? Where should
Go
we
to
go?
the coffee place, Martin. It
Oh,
says here in the script.
you're you're inspired. Right.
Ooh,
Let's.
I know. I was
Well,
feeling particularly absorbed in my imagination.
nice. On the
Coffee.
back of the tractor this week, I've been doing. I did lend it out to a local farmer, um, and
Okay.
there is a huge kind of like yeah, the plow is kind of it's a big one. It's like the width of
Okay.
the road. So rather than
Mm.
just one furrow, it's going to basically just rip up the
Carnage.
entire road. Yeah, as we
Carnage.
go.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Okay. Of the little road that's left, is the last.
Okay. Can I get you a drink, Paul?
Yes. Well, considering it's here in Italy, it's 8:15 in the evening. I'm going to
Hmm.
have a caffè caretto. It's a coffee corrected, like like
Corrected
literal
coffee with alcohol.
corrected. That's the literal translation. Corrected with alcohol. Usually they correct it with grappa. Yeah, yeah. It's
that
not
stuff
great. Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff is only to be used for hand to hand combat.
yeah. Well, here in the morning, it's a tradition of builders. In the morning, they have a coffee and they have a little bit of grappa in it of a morning.
Oh wow,
The
that
builder's
is
coffee.
that is harsh. All
Yeah.
right, so good,
And what are
bad,
you
and the
having, Martin?
I will have a matcha with lavender and honey. I think I had that last time. I'm
Sophisticated. Very
you know me,
sophisticated,
Paul.
Martin.
I'm fucking
Mm.
sophisticated, me.
Martin Sophisticated West. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
call you.
Yep. Um,
Okay. Let's go.
so
Yeah. Let's
good, bad, and the ugly. So let's
good,
start with
bad,
the
and
good.
yes. The good. Yes. Well, you go first, mate. You go first. What have you
All
got
right.
for good?
It's been like it's been a real mixed bag of ADHD ness in my. So the good is nothing has gone seriously wrong.
Great. Good start.
Yay. Um,
Yay.
I have managed to um, do things like because every spring it involves you having to like jump on stuff. So
Mhm.
suddenly you've got to start cutting the grass. Suddenly you've got to start planting things. So I've been outside and I've planted loads of tomatoes and radishes
Lovely.
and beans.
Oh, I love a radish. I
Oh, I
love a
pulled
radish.
up. I thought of you, Paul. I
Oh,
thought of you. I pulled up
yeah.
the most perfect radish ever. It was like about the
Oh,
size of a
lovely.
golf ball. It was
Mm,
perfect. Oh, it was like that's a
lovely.
great radish.
last week I did a radish salad. It's radish, walnuts, pear, salad leaves,
All right.
gorgonzola, cucumber, and tomato.
That
Top
sounds like a
notch.
good. That sounds like a salad I would make in the autumn. Like that's a
Uh
very
huh. Mm-hmm.
that's like a good autumn salad.
Yeah,
But
I love a good salad.
yeah,
See, as good as Italian cuisine is, they have a certain reputation. They're not. It's the salad is not really a thing at all in Italy. You get the Caesar salad if you're lucky, and that's it. And so they're
right.
not really into it. I think I'm I take particular pleasure in the dark arts of a well thought out salad
Mm-hmm.
for flavors and crunchiness and textures and stuff like that.
Oh yes,
Oh
yes, yes,
yes,
yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
So okay, so you've got radishes, you've got stuff's happening in your
Stuff happening
garden.
outside.
Yeah.
Outside, stuff is going on. So I kind of feel. So I've kind of got my ass together enough to kind of keep on top of it. I've even
Mm.
got corn growing. I'm growing corn.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
built another 3 boxes of vegetables. So for growing vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So now got 4. I've now got 7.
Mm-hmm.
Just showing off my math skills there by adding 4 and 3.
Impressive.
I know, right? Thank you,
Impressive.
thank you, thank you.
So talk us through Martin West when
Yes.
you're kind of like on your hands and your knees,
Oh
Martin,
blimey, hang on. Where's
amongst
this
your
going?
veg and your
All right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What's going on? Are you talking to them?
No, I'm talking
Okay.
to myself. It's like the the nice thing is that or the interesting thing that I find, if I had one plant like a house plant, I have a couple of
Mm-hmm.
those, right? Say, and I have to water them and keep them alive, I will fail. But
Uh.
because like I've got about 45 tomato plants out there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a load of corn, I've got a load of squash, I've got a load of garlic. I've
Mm-hmm.
like there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of plants.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the stakes are higher. So I have to take care of them because there's just a lot of them rather than just
Okay.
one plant. So,
So what? But what other stakes?
well, I mean, I put a lot of effort into building these vegetable boxes, right?
Okay.
And built them out and put all the
Mm-hmm.
compost and the stuff in them. So I've spent
Mm-hmm.
a lot of money and time
Mm-hmm.
on it. So I feel emotionally invested in the
Right.
success.
Okay. All right.
Whereas if
Okay.
you've got like a single plant standing on it, I'll just like, oh, it can die, and it will die.
Okay.
So I used to think I'm not good with plants because I'd look at the evidence of all
Mm.
the occasional dead house plant that I would kill. But actually, it was just
Yeah.
I I need quantity. I need a lot of
Mm.
them so that I can go, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make sure that they're okay because I don't want to be the one that kills like all
Right.
my vegetables. That would just be
Okay.
heartbreaking.
Wait, is there a spiritual part of it? It's like they've recent research they found that trees talk to each other.
Hmm.
You know, um, and
There is.
trees have the. It's like yeah.
There is because you end up looking outside and being, what's the weather doing? How hot is it? Is it
Yeah.
raining? Is it not raining? So
Yeah.
you kind of more in touch with like
Mm-hmm.
what's going on outside. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
if one of the things about ADHD is you have time blindness and you tend to live in the kind of now almost.
Mm-hmm.
But it forces you to think in seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of look at the calendar, go, okay, right, where are we now? We're in mid-May, so therefore, plants have to be in. They'll be roughly around here, and then I have to look down the line and go, right, I'm gonna all those radishes. They grow really quickly, and you have to kind of keep sowing the seeds
Yeah.
for the next batch,
Yeah.
right? So you kind of
Yeah.
so you're thinking ahead and think, right, okay, I've got to get some seeds for that in about a week's time. I'm going to put that in. So it's nice to kind of put your fingers in the soil and feel
Yeah. Yeah.
the seasons and time passing.
Yeah. And also, the smells. Last week we had a podcast about on the theme of smell.
Yes.
Smell of basics. Smell of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the
Nice.
smell of tomato plants.
Oh
They
yeah,
have
yeah.
They have a very distinctive smell.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
The smell of the birds as they twitter and fly.
Yeah. I mean, it's all. There's like we're part of a natural ecosystem, right? We are
Yeah.
part of it. We feel like we're not. We're more and more detached, but we're not actually.
Yeah.
So okay, cool.
Yes. So
Okay.
that's my good. I'm going to stop there. What about
Okay,
you?
my good. It's actually connected to the bad and the ugly. I'm coming to the end of my teaching contract, and so there's like a lot happening at the school at the moment. But my good in that on that theme is being in amongst the teenagers.
All right.
So I teach. They go from 14 to 19-year-olds, and a real challenge to my RSD rejection sensitive rejection
Dysphoria.
sensitive dysphoria, right?
Yeah.
Because like God, the ups and the downs. Oh my God. And you could go from joy in 1 second to like total crash the next, as you go from one class to another, or you're dealing with one teenager from another, but there's a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
and but in this context, the good part of it is when it's good, it's a total joy. I really really
Right.
love it, and it feels really nice because we kind of we tend to be a bit judgmental about the youth,
Mm-hmm.
but actually, they're a lot of the times I find the students way more emotionally mature and relatable than the teachers, the adults, way more,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my good, and it is a constant source of joy actually, but sometimes it's a real challenge to my RSD a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Um.
Yes.
All right. So do you have the cowbell that
Oh.
that uh,
Oh.
that we
Christ.
use to transition?
Oh, blimey! I've failed again, haven't I?
Oh no. See,
And
any other listener to this show knows that in between the good and the bad and the ugly, Paul rings a little bell to mark the transition.
yeah,
And now he's
it's
searching his
almost a
apartment
tradition also that what I don't
because
have is
he
that
can't find his little bell. He's lost his
I
little bell.
cannot find. Oh, here it is. It was right in front of me.
Oh, hang on. I hear sounds like he knows where it is. There it is.
There we go.
We're back.
Professional. We're back.
Ah, see, that's what it's all about. Preparation.
It's almost
That's the key
scary.
to the
Yes.
success of this pod.
Yes. So you're. Let's move on to bad then, Martin. What's your bad?
Bad. The bad of this. Oh, the bad of this. this week was I in ADHD terms is I have this client, right? And I was doing some campaign work for them, and then the client brought in someone else, but who I'd worked with previously, and they brought that person in, and she's a copywriter, and she's a good copy writer, right? So she was like, so she was like, yeah, okay, me and this. It isn't just me now; it's me and the copywriter, who I don't have a great relationship with, really. I mean,
I mean, someone could be good at their job, but they might not be compatible.
Right. I mean, I suspect anyone who works in the creative field is going to be on the spectrum or neurodivergent in some way, because they almost all are. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we get on. You know, it's not like
no, totally.
Just because you're on the spectrum doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to vibe with you.
Yeah.
So I didn't like. I was having a bit of an ego issue, because it was like I'd done a lot of work on this, and then she came in and she was like changing things, and so it was a bit of a battle. And then, but I mean, what was coming out of that battle between her and me was better work.
Okay.
So it was still, her input made things better than if it was just my input.
Yeah.
But my brain was having a real hard time working on the campaign anymore. It just really struggled.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I was going, no, she's good. This work is good. She's improving it. But my brain was like, just had a strop and just and threw all of the toys out of the pram, out of the cot, and so that was, so I ended up just not doing any work on that campaign for about 4 days easily.
Okay.
A week.
Yeah.
I just went, I can't. And I woke up every day going, no, I'm going to just open the files up. I'm going to work on this campaign. It's going to be good. And my brain was like, no, fuck off. Don't want to know.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you say. I don't know if it's the same thing, but often with me, well, those that don't know, Martin and I would work in the same business arena, you know, marketing, advertising, etc. And when I'm going through my work, I have to like walk it through in my mind to the minutest detail in my mind, and therefore I know it intimately. And if someone else gets involved in that, I lose a bit of that intimacy, and I struggle with it. I struggle to own it as much as I would, because essentially I'm a bit of a control freak as a designer,
right?
You know, especially if I'm presenting it to a client. If the ultimate goal is that I will present the creative to a client,
all right, yeah,
whether internally or externally, I need to know it like within a you know, an inch of its life, that project. And if there's someone else, I struggle to get into their minds, and therefore it compromises how I present it, if that makes sense. That's just me, though.
I think it's like, you know, I think of it as, if, you know, for other people, if you were doing a drawing at home, right, and you were like doing drawing stuff, and you were like, yeah, I'm really enjoying working on some creative project, right? And then with the aim that you're going to kind of show it to a bunch of people, you know, you say you're going to kind of put it in a show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to go on the wall, and you want to be able to stand by that piece of work and go, yep, that's my work. I own it 100%. Like it's as good as I could make that thing. But then someone comes along while you're doing your work and starts drawing in some other parts on your painting, right? They're kind of, let me just do the sun over here, and you're going, what the hell? This is my drawing.
Yeah.
And you there's this kind of like conflict because because you're giving birth, you are creating something, and then the thought of putting your work up and standing there and people looking at it and you going, yeah, well, this part was good, but the guy who did the sun, that's just awful. And it's just but that is our job. When you work in the creative industry, that is your day in and day out. You'll be working on something, and there's someone else is in there, and they're putting their stuff in, and you it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. I've on the as you were saying, that in this case she is good at her job. I've also had to collaborate with people that weren't particularly good at their job, and get involved with aspects of the work that they shouldn't do, and that would drive me crazy. And sometimes I was really too honest about it, quite, some would say aggressive. Like someone said, "Oh, I don't think that should be green. I think it should be blue." And then that's the end of their conversation. And if that's it, if that's all they've got, I've been known to say, "Look, if it's just your personal taste, I'm sorry, but that's not good enough for me." If you've got a reason, you've got an input because you think it's going to be better, and you think you have an insight, and you think that the client's going to like it more, then fine. But I'm not interested. I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in your personal feelings about a color or a position or something superficial. That's my job,
Yeah.
And my honesty has got me into a lot of trouble in the past.
I had the same conversation yesterday. So there's a fairly decently sized big brand, and I'm redoing their logo, but it's more of a tidying up job rather than a new logo. It's kind of taking the existing identity and just making a cleaner, a little bit more modern version of it. And I've been brought in on this project. Now, the guy, the creative director who works for this particular company, my input, I was forced on him. He was told, there's this guy.
Christ.
He's coming in from the outside.
I've been in that.
And he is going to be redesigning our logo. And this guy has been trying to redesign their logo for years, right? For years, he's kind of put forward suggestions and ideas. And then I come along and I design it, and then I send it to him. But the client has already said, yeah, no, this is it. This is the logo. We're going to go with that, right? So it's been approved from high up. And then I send it to this creative director, and he wants a meeting. And then I'm sitting in that meeting yesterday, and he is pulling apart. He wants to pull that logo apart and go, why is it like this? Why is it like that? I can understand, rather than just kind of going, okay, well, this is it, I'll just use this and just move on. And I really felt for him, because I was like, mate, I know how you feel. I know
Yeah,
how you feel because it's happened to me. I
it
just,
does feel personal at that point, doesn't it?
yeah.
I got pulled into a project 2 years ago. It was a job for the European Union, and it was a campaign because the union, kind of long story short, European Union had done a lot of expensive research, and they found that most research that's done and most work that's done in environmental studies is very male based, and they were promoting a more female approach or more balanced approach to environmental studies. Okay,
Mhm.
and so I did some proposals, creative proposals, and this guy clearly I'd been brought in, and he was the creative head of the project, creative director, and he'd been pulled in without him approving it, and he just like slated everything that I did.
Oof.
But the worst part was that he clearly completely misunderstood and wasn't sensitive to what the actually campaign was about at all. And it was really hard work. And actually, the client or his colleague in Rome, who was actually leading the project, she called me and apologized for his behavior. It was terrible. It was really bad, but it was like 3 weeks of just swimming in treacle.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was hard. Anyhow,
Bad. Oh,
bad.
over to you.
Well, bad, Martin. You quite often we don't have an ugly, we just have bad. This week, I'm gonna skip the bad and go directly to ugly, Martin. So
Look at that. Right, hang on to your hats. All right, we're
hang
going
on to
into
your
ugly.
hats, right? Um, end of school year meetings with
Oh Jesus.
teachers, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, brace
um,
yourselves.
assessing and grading as a group in a room with all the other teachers. Okay, year by year. Okay, and this is about the third or fourth school that I've done it in. And every time, because I'm a newbie, you know, I've only been teaching for a year and a half, you know, I'm like sensitive to like, you know, putting my nose in something and, you know,
Right.
creating waves. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
this time I decided, no, I'm going to say something.
All right.
And I stopped the conversation.
Oh,
They were assessing students,
yeah.
as but in particularly the poorly performing ones.
Yep.
And I said, I just want to say, you know, I've
Yeah.
taught now in 4 different schools. I've taught, I've been working with, you know, towards 1,000 students. And I don't know what the position of this school is, but I've not heard one school talk about ADHD or it is autism. Not one.
Yes.
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 And I was
Throw the
really glad
cat
I did
amongst
it.
the pigeons.
I was really glad that I did it.
Woohoo!
And the reaction was not good.
Oh.
It was like tumbleweed,
It's like, whoa, what is this ADHD
tumbleweed.
he speaks of?
It's like, oh, what's this? What's he talking about? You know,
What's he
and
talking about?
like they just wanted to moan about the kid, you know, and you know, go through the usual conversations that they've had for years about
Right,
underperforming kids. No one
right.
actually saying, oh, maybe there's a different approach to it. You know, this is 2025,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some other things that we haven't taken into consideration. Nothing, absolutely nothing. A teacher turned round to me and said, absolutely true, this. He said, well, this is the language school. We don't have those kinds of students at this school. His assumption was that, well, no, it's not quite. He said this is a language school, and it's known as being quite a difficult type of high school to do. So we generally don't attract those kinds of students.
Look at
Yeah.
that.
I was like, what? And I said, well, in theory, it's going to be between 8 and 10% of your student population. you know. And I said,
Right.
I've heard you talking about this student
Mm-hmm.
and that student, and
It's
to me, they
there.
clearly need um, special attention. You know, well, not even special attention. You know,
Right. Okay.
consideration. You know, nuanced
Yeah.
thinking. You know,
Considerations.
different thinking. You know, what if kind of.
Ah.
Any conversation starts with what if.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on, for
Wow.
some
There you
reason,
go.
Spotify just
Yes.
kicked in for no reason.
And now you're
Why did it do that?
grooving.
Okay. So yeah, and that was it. You know, it didn't go anywhere. I suspected it wouldn't, but I was seething,
Right. Yeah.
seething.
Well,
But you know,
good
we
job for
talk. Yeah, I'm glad I did say it. You know, it was like putting my head well and truly above the parapet. You know, and
right. Well,
yeah,
it might just kind of like just plant a seed that you might not see
exactly.
grow today, but maybe
If it has to be me
tomorrow.
the first to actually mention it, so be it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the risk that comes with that. Odd looks. Like,
Right.
oh, but yeah, it was bad, and they just generally, I didn't like the way they were behaving towards the
Wow.
students.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it
Um.
was not
Uh,
not pretty.
no, it doesn't sound it. Uh. On my side, ugly. It's like I don't. I'm struggling to think of a particularly ugly work or a particularly ugly thing, even not ADHD related. Um, it's actually been fairly good.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
okay. Well, the ugliest thing that I can come up with is um, I was dragging my feet on this campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And rather than me go, okay, guys, everyone, I seem to be having an issue here. I just
Mm-hmm.
my brain wouldn't even do that either.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
it wouldn't even go, oh, perhaps I should just get people around a table. And the interesting thing for me was when I work in an office,
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. Like that whole scene of someone coming in and being on the job and then I just drag my heels for a week would
Mm-hmm.
never happen because in an office
Okay.
in an office
Yeah.
environment, I go, okay, right, well, let's get you and me and someone else, and we'll just sit down and we'll just
Mm-hmm.
hash out what we're going to
Mm-hmm.
do, and there would be a feeling of collaboration and common goal would
Mm-hmm.
come out of it usually, even if I don't particularly get on
Yeah.
with a person, but I'd feel like we're on the same page and okay, we have a
Mm-hmm.
vision and we're going to go for
Mm-hmm.
that. But because we work remotely, I
Yeah.
don't have that connection. I don't have
Totally.
I don't ha-
Yeah.
I don't have that work mechanism
Mm.
like I used to. I mean, sure, I could reach out and get them on a Zoom call and we could maybe do it that way, but that's not a that
Yeah.
particular that particular thing. I haven't I don't normally do, so I was
Yeah.
struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Um
totally get you.
and then the ugly
Me.
part was
Yeah.
they stepped in, which is what
Uh huh.
what an account manager should be doing anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should have had daily check-ins
Mm-hmm.
anyway. So I
Mm-hmm.
think they were dragging their feet as well. But anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
it all compounded, and in the end, they set up a meeting, and they were like, right, let's take this particular job off of you. I mean, oh, thank God for that. I don't want this job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that project. I don't want that campaign. I'd already
Mm-hmm.
done the interesting part, if you like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd done all the fun stuff, and it was just the kind of
Mm-hmm.
back end crappy execution nuts and
Right. Yeah.
bolts that I was dragging my feet on. So I was like, no, I'm fine. I've already made my mark on that
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
So and now I'm kind of back. But yeah, I should have handled that better professionally, rather than.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said, for you know the how it used to be, like direct relationships, physical relationships, you have in an agency, they say 9/10 of communication is nonverbal, and
Mhm.
there is a kind of a dance, that you do, with colleagues. Do you know what I
There is a
mean?
dance,
You can understand a hell of a lot about each other and understand
right?
things better, without having to like spell it out as you might, with remote working,
Yeah.
or with a shitty email or something,
Shitty email. All right. Cool. I'm just clock
Alrighty.
watching. So I think we should jump back in. That'll be a good time to jump back in a track to get back to the
Yes.
pub, and then we can have like a mini pub quiz.
Yes, we do.
And
Yes.
then we'll see who can humiliate whom.
Yes. Well, there's a
Right.
bit of humiliation on my part as well, but I'll go into that.
All right. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Let's just
yeah.
jump back in and we'll get to the pub. Ploughing up the road, causing carnage.
Carnage. Okay.
Right.
So I've got a quiz,
Pub
and
quiz.
it's partly based. I had this quiz in mind because it's a subject
Yes.
that I really like. But in doing the quiz, in doing the research for the quiz, I discovered something. Um, I discovered something. Okay, I
Yes.
discovered that my outro, where I say, "I beseech you, fellow ADHDers, know thyself, sons of the house, come hither and get the flesh," is absolute poppycock. It
Oh, wow.
absolutely. It is. There's no one ever said that stuff. No one ever said it, and it's complete nonsense. And I hold my hand up, and I think it was just me doing some um, lazy research on it on the interweb. Okay, and
Right.
not actually making sure that it was authenticated. So it's complete nonsense. I apologise to all our Scottish viewers, listeners, patrons,
Yes.
and as a kind of a form of well, how can I say it, of apology,
Yes.
I've created a quiz
All right.
about
Um,
authentic Scottish battle cries, Martin.
wow. I love this. So does that mean that you have a different outro at the
I
end?
do. I do.
Oh, we'll have to
I
wait and
do.
see. We'll have to wait and
Yes,
see. It's very exciting.
I actually follow through, Martin.
Yes, I was hoping that you would.
I'm going to follow
I
through.
was hoping
Okay.
you would. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
here it is, Martin.
All right.
The
I'm ready.
quiz.
Yes.
Okay.
Go on.
Right.
Yes.
So those that don't know it, the Scots had a
Yes.
certain battle cries that were linked to their clan. Okay. And they were like, right. They were like they were cries of war or slogans, each traditionally linked to their particular clan. Okay, often used
Right.
on a battlefield to rally their warriors, intimidate their foes, and assert their clan
Freedom.
identity. Right. Okay. And so I've got three, okay, not four,
Yep.
not five, not 73, three. And you've got to, out of the four in each category, you've got to pick out the one that I've made up, Martin.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So apologies for the pronunciation because it's actually in, like a Scots um, um, dialect. Okay.
Right.
So, number one, okay, this is from the Mackenzie clan, okay?
Okay.
Talak Ard, which
Oh, wow.
translate roughly to high hill, okay? Because all of these particular four, these first four, it wasn't like a threat or anything like that. They would actually say, "We want to fight you, and we're going to tell you where we are going to fight." So the Mackenzies, they always did the fighting on the high hill or the
Right.
Talak Ard, they shout. Number two,
Hang on
the
a second.
McLarens.
hang on a second. So that one sounds a Klingon. I'm just saying.
Okay.
It does sound Klingon.
Controversial.
But
Yeah.
also, fighting on high ground makes total sense. So like a battle cry of like high hill is almost like,
Yes.
right, take that hill, get up that hill.
Yes.
That's what we want. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
It's a
Next,
bit
the
like, at
McLarens.
school. It's a bit like at school, say, let's fight outside the school gates tonight. So you're like,
Mhm.
okay,
To the
you knew
gates.
where to congregate.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two is this is McLaren clad. Okay.
Yeah.
McLaren clan.
Yeah.
Craig and Turik, which is the Boars Rock. Okay, another location.
All right.
Okay. Number three, the McFallen clan. Falanduk Kranak.
That's it. Get into
The
it.
crack in the ridge is the rough translation of that one, Martin.
What?
Number four, okay, the McFallen clan. Loch Sloy refers to literally the loch called Sloy. We're going to meet you if you have the want, if you still got the energy and the will and the motivation. We'll meet you at Loch Sloy. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So,
Which
number
one of
one,
those?
High Hill.
Yeah.
Number two, the Boar's Rock. Number three,
Okay.
Crack in the Ridge. Number
Right.
four, Loch Sloy.
It's like it's such a crapshoot. It really is. It's such a crapshoot. So, okay, I'm gonna guess that it's just purely out of whatever, that it's not the first or the last, so it's probably one of the two in the
Okay.
middle. And if I was going to do two in the middle, I'd say the third one. But that's
The Crack in the
I mean,
Ridge. Maybe it's because I didn't pronounce that one particularly well. If you want, I can repronounce it. Falandak
yes.
Kranak. See, sounds a little bit more authentic, doesn't it, Martin?
Okay, yeah, it does. I can feel the wind in my kilt as you were saying it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm going to
you're sticking with three.
I'm going to stick with three because literally
you're
no reason.
You're annoyingly right, Martin. Correct. Falando Kranak, completely made up.
Oh,
okay.
I love that.
Okay, so next category. Category, because they had different types of of battle cries. These are more based on how they might propose to fight. Okay, so number one, Chuil, which is from the Chuil, is the Cameron clan.
Right.
Some thunder and lightning outside. The Cameron clan literally translates as the retreat. Kind of odd, isn't it?
Retreat.
Controversial. Retreat. Run away.
Run away.
Run away. Run away. That's the Cameron clan.
Nice.
Controversial.
Yeah.
I failed to cut and paste here. Next one is Druid. Oh, this is difficult. Druid Kinnick Nan Gadil.
Nice.
Which is the magic of the Gales.
The magic of the Gales.
The magic of the Gales. Interesting, right? I think what they were trying to intimidate and say that they have some kind of magical powers that the other clans don't have. Okay.
Is it like really bad farts? Is that what they mean?
Yeah. If you want me to repronounce that, I can. Druikinad Nangadil. Okay. Number three.
Yep.
This is from the MacLean clan. MacLean.
Right.
Firail Ersun Ekion. Okay.
Yeah.
Literally translate this. I love this one. Another for Hector! Exclamation mark. because apparently he was a particularly revered chief that they should
Right.
be particularly reticent to do battle with. Another
That
for
makes sense.
Hector. Fair ild arsen equine. Okay.
Right.
Last but not
weird.
least.
It's weird how the word Hector doesn't appear in that sentence.
Odd, isn't it? I know.
It is odd.
And,
Where's the
and
word
therefore,
Hector?
and therefore, kind of cunningly confusing you, Martin.
Right.
Yeah. Who'd have thought it?
Right.
Who'd have thought it'd be that kind of,
Right. I can imagine. Echola Hector.
Yeah, exactly. Last but not of this one,
Yep.
last one, the fourth one, the
Yep.
McNeil clan.
Yeah.
Badak non Gadal.
Dothraki.
Roughly translate. Roughly,
Yes.
Martin. Don't
Yes.
don't get too hung up on the translation. Roughly translates as "fear my stare."
Oh yes. The stare of death.
Right. So it's 1, the treat. 2, the magic of the guilds. 3, another for Hector. 4, fear my stare.
I wouldn't normally go with 3 again because
All right.
although the fact that the word Hector doesn't appear in that sentence does point an arrow to that I
Yes.
should that's the best
Or a
clue I have.
sword. Or a sword. Or a dagger.
Or a haggis.
Or a haggis. Yeah. Or a spodden.
So I'm going number 3.
Nope. I made up fear my stare. It was completely made up. Badak non gadal. No. That's actually Turkish for eat my croissant.
Oh.
No, but
Which is
not.
Also a fantastic
It's not. I made that up as well.
battle cry. Oh.
Yes, eat my croissant. Yeah.
I
I made that up as well. Okay. Last one. Okay.
Last one. Okay, here we go.
There's some difficult ones here to pronounce. Blimey. I guess it's Gaelic, isn't it? Or is it Scots? Is Gaelic and Scots the same thing? I don't know. McDonald clan, okay? McDonald clan.
Big
3 large fries and a big shake. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah. No, it's a different McDonald's, Martin.
Right. Did he have a farm?
Maybe.
Is it E-I-E-I-O? Is that the...
No, it's A Dynanduin Cothring E.
Right.
Adinin Aindoin Cornilin. Okay?
We're doing it
Roughly
again. Doesn't help.
No, I know. Me neither, and I've got the answers. Roughly translates as to hell with anyone who says otherwise. Kind of vague.
To hell with anyone who says otherwise. That sounds very English.
Yes. The McClune clan. Okay, number 2. McClune. Shadendran Dorun. Eat your words.
That is the most Scottish one I've heard so far.
Yeah.
Eat my shorts. Was that?
Eat my words.
Oh, okay.
The Grant clan. It's not a Muck anything. It's a Grant clan. Okay. Garg Nuin Dugnizgear. Fear when roused.
What? Okay.
Fear when roused. Can you imagine it, Martin? You're at the top of a Scottish mountain in your kilt, shouting down at your foes, and you're shouting, "Fear when roused."
Yeah. I somehow suspect
all beneath you
something.
are quaking in their little kilts. Right. Okay. Right. Last but not least, the 4th, Macintosh clan.
Right. It's what?
A bit longer, this one. You ready?
Yes.
Kianinyak, Gabnyaka, Aknyak Dion. Roughly translate as, somewhat controversially, not an aggressor, but a defender.
Oh, right.
Okay, so 1, to hell with anyone who says otherwise. 2, eat your words. 3, fierce when roused. Roused, not aroused. Not an aggressor. 4, not an aggressor, but a defender from our
right.
friends, the Macintoshes.
I think I'm going to have to literally go on the translation. So, fierce when roused makes sense. It's kind of like saying, if we're roused, then if you rouse us, you should
Yes.
fear us. So that makes
Yes.
sense. Not an aggressor, but a defender also makes complete sense because defenders fight harder than aggressors.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? That it's like saying we will fight harder because we are we have to defend.
Yeah.
To hell, to hell. That just sounds so English. To hell with any other. Was it
To hell with
any?
anyone who says otherwise.
Right. That just sounds like that just
It's
sounds so
bizarre, isn't it?
British.
It's a bit vague.
All right. Eat my words sounds like eat my shorts. You know, I'm going to go with number 2. Come on, number 2. Eat my words.
Eat your words.
Yes.
Well, you will not be eating your words because you're right, Martin.
Oh!
2 out of 3.
Yes.
Well done.
To be the victor. Victor.
Wow. Those are tricky pronunciations. My goodness.
You did well there, Paul. I have to hand it
Thank you,
to
Martin.
you.
That's because I've got a bit of Scottish blood in me.
Right.
Because
you should give it back.
Thompson, did you know that the Burberry, famous Burberry pattern, that is actually the Thompson tartan clan?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could wear a Burberry kilt and be authentic and look like a complete arsehole at the same time.
Yeah.
Result.
Well done. Yeah.
It's like, look at that idiot over there wearing a Burberry kilt.
You go, no, it's because I'm a Thompson.
No, you're a nutter. I'm a Thompson. Yeah.
That's funny. All right.
So yes, that was my little way of apologising, and for my superficiality.
All right. Well, let's just go over to the post bag quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So Alexandra, the official ADHD town crier,
yes,
left one of her customary and much appreciated comments on the YouTubes. So she was saying that she said so that was the episode last week about ADHD and smell. She said wonderful episode. Missed your face because I was blurred out on the YouTube video.
Okay, so
but rather interestingly, what?
Yes.
Yeah,
do tell us, Martin.
Rather interestingly with her, is that she has a very sensitive sense of smell. Like it is ridiculously good.
Wow. Okay.
So, and she went to chef school.
Okay.
So and in my head it kind of like, well, that makes complete sense. Like the smell and taste, and it kind of like feels like if you're really sensitive to it, you can really harness that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
so what did she say? What did Alexandra say?
Well, one interesting thing that she said was, I hope this is okay saying it out loud, seeing as it's already here, is that she had an ex-partner who got leukemia.
Ooh.
And she could smell that he smelt different.
Okay.
You know, like how you hear stories that dogs can tell whether you've got cancer or not because they've got very good senses as well.
They say five times stronger than our sense of smell in dogs have.
Right.
Yeah.
So it turns out that some humans can also not necessarily smell directly the cancer, but almost the changes that it makes in your body, and then you can smell that. So it comes out as like a sort of a different, a more like a sour, more so you actually smell different, and she could smell that.
Yeah, that is interesting. By the way, Alexandra's the invite's still open for you to become a guest on a future podcast.
Yeah.
Be more than welcome.
Obviously. But yeah, all right.
So next week, just so you know, heads up, next week, everyone, next week we're going to do an episode on ADHD and conflict. ADHD and conflict, and how we deal with it in our beautiful, unique way.
Yeah. So there'll be some lots of stories, and maybe we'll learn something along the way.
Yes. If anyone's got any contributions to it, how you deal with conflict or don't.
Or if you have any questions, listener questions
or suggestions,
get in the comments, people.
Get the comments, please. Okay.
All right.
Just leaves the outro, I think, doesn't it, Martin?
Yeah, that just leaves me to say that ADHDville is delivered fresh every Tuesday to all purveyors of fine podcasts. Please subscribe and rate us. Most awesome. And feel free to correspond with us in the comments. But wait, there's more. If you want to see our beautiful, beautiful faces, then you can hop over to the YouTubes or the TikToks.
Or skip.
And if you want to pick up a quill, you can email us at adhdville@gmail.com. But in the meantime, and I'm very excited to hear Paul's new outro. But in the meantime, be fucking kind to yourself.
And I beseech you, fellow ADHDers, fare thee well with gladness of heart.
Oh, I like that.
Fare thee well with gladness of heart.
It has heart. It feels warm and cuddly. It feels like I've been hugged.
Yeah, it's got something, isn't it? It's got a ring about it.
It does, and it's taken us right out past the
hour,
the music.
There, says the mayor. That's that.
Yes.